Raider Nation, what is the deal, man? Once again, it's your guy Panama Fargo back to y'all live with another episode of the Raider Rundown. And today, man, we're gonna go over the injury report that was released by the Las Vegas Raiders today, man. Some people was kind of tripping about it, and at the same time, we're gonna go over just a little bit of the scouting that I've done so far on the Buffalo Bills, man. So without further ado, let's get this intro started and let's get into it.
As a young guy, I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports.
Deal Raider Nation, once again, this is another episode of the Raider Rundown. Make sure y'all tapping on that like and subscribe button. And if you can't, hit on that little notification bell so you get updated whenever I drop episodes like this one right here. But like I was saying, man, we're going to go over the injury report first and just a little bit of the scouting I've been doing for Buffalo. Throughout the week, we're going to go over some more shit, right? But just from what I've learned so far. So let's get into this injury report. First off, the player that everybody was tripping about today, that most people were tripping about today, Devontae Adams, not practicing today, right? Limited, did not part with a foot injury. But keep this in mind, bro. It's not serious, all right? He's going to be playing on Sunday. I believe this is one of those days where they just give him that veteran rest. You feel what I'm saying? He needs that veteran rest, keep his body fresh, keep him healthy, right? Same shit with Jimmy Garoppolo. I believe Jimmy practiced today, which he did. He was limited in practice. But at the end of the day, it's, you give him a veteran day off. He was still there at the end of practice for that end of practice interview conference that they be having after practices, where the media gets to talk to the players, ask some questions. So at the end of the day, it ain't nothing to worry about. I just want to let y'all know it's nothing to worry about. Devontae Adams will still be playing on Sunday, right? Next player, DeAndre Carter did not part with a knee injury. Now, he was battling a knee injury last week, if you remember, and that's what kept him questionable for the game versus the Denver Broncos. This week seems to be the same thing. I do anticipate him playing as well. Now, he didn't get a lot of tick out there like I thought he was going to get, but at the end of the day, I still think that they're limiting him as well, making sure he's good, making sure, that the knee isn't a major problem going forward into the week. And I think we'll be seeing him in there. He'll probably be listed as questionable again this week, but I do think he's going to be playing, especially because the next player that I'm going to tell y'all now, Jacoby Myers, did not practice again. He's still in concussion protocol. So if we have any hopes to have him back for Sunday's game, he has to get out there between, tomorrow, Friday. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to see Jacoby Myers this week. What I think is going to happen is now we're going to see more of that Hunter Renfrow that we've been, wanting to look for, that I know most of us, even me, pointed out was like, okay, he didn't get a lot of usage. I wasn't really tripping about it like most people, because at the end of the day, you understand what type of personnel the Raiders were using when they were playing the Denver Broncos, very heavy 12 personnel. So at the end of the day, it wasn't going to be a lot of opportunities. Now, this week with Jacoby out, we should see more Hunter. So remember, he's still in concussion protocol. If we have any hopes of seeing him, he has to probably return back to practice tomorrow. And if not, then, we're without him this week. Next up on the list, we have Jordan Meredith. He has a calf issue. He was limited in today's practice. Backup guard, so keep that in mind. You always got to have your lineman, or at least your backup lineman, ready to go at a moment's notice, because you never know what's going to happen with your O-line, so keep that there. Another person that did not part, and this is very, very good by y'all, man, pointing this out, because I didn't notice that towards the end of the game. Trayvon Merritt, another guy who did not part in practice today because of his thumb. Now, a lot of people were pointing out to the fact that he had a cast on his hand during the game. I didn't even see that. So it's good for y'all to point that out, man. I didn't see that. He had a cast on his hand, so hopefully it's not nothing like, a broken thumb or anything like that. Maybe it's a dislocation, but at the end of the day, they kept him out today, so he did not practice as well. There's a couple starters that did not practice today. Last but not least, you have Jimmy Garoppolo. He was limited with an ankle injury, like I said. So at the end of the day, he is good to go. And the only person that's on the Buffalo Bills, was Mitch Morse. Now, keep this in mind. They are coming off a short week. Okay, they had to play that Monday night game. It's a shorter week for them. So we're probably not going to see the full array of players that's going to be on their injury report till probably tomorrow, right? So at the end of the day, that's all your Raiders that's on the injury report. Nothing that you need to trip about. Is definitely not anything serious. Everybody that, that we expect to be out there, except for Myers, is probably going to be out there Merrick, Devontae, Jimmy, all these guys, DeAndre Carter, they're probably all going to be out there. Now, this leads me into the next little segment of the show real quick. Some of the scouting that I've been doing on the Bills leads me to believe a lot of things, right? One, I have a sneaky suspicion. Sneaky suspicion. This is one of those games where they're going to let it, if we hang around with these motherfuckers and make it ugly, then the outcome can be in our favor, okay? Because at the end of the day, for as explosive as they are, sometimes you just can't hide tendency. And tendency is they have a tendency to throw the ball away. I mean, not throw the ball away, but give the ball to the other team. So basically, you throwing it away, right? They had the tendency to turn the ball over. One, two, their defense isn't as stout as I believed it was right now. At the end of the day, do they still have good hogs on that team? Yes, they do. But one, there's a lot of opportunities because they play a lot of man coverage. And two, they're not that strong versus the run. We were able to see what the New York Jets was able to do with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and things of that nature. Now, last week, it was kind of tough sledding for Josh. But this week, I expect us to try to get that run game started, right? They have to try to get that run game started because at the end of the day, I don't believe they have the linebackers to deal with our run game. I don't think that they do. I like Matt Milano, but he's more of a coverage linebacker than me. I don't even know the other linebacker because remember, they let go of Tremaine Edmonds. So, I mean, I don't think they have enough beef up front. I mean, you look at Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver's cool, but they have Leonard Floyd. They have Gregory Rousseau. And these are guys you think of pass rushing specialists, right? These are guys that you think of that is going to rush the passer. Now, I'm going to keep this in mind. I don't really know what Ed Oliver's role is on that team. I got to do a little bit more scouting. But from what I've seen, it seems that they're, most of the people that cover the Bills and the Bills, content creators, they seem to be worried about teams running the ball on them, right? And when teams go to that heavy package, what is the Bills' counter to that? Because the counter to that against the Jets was putting Micah Hyde down there in the box, and that's not going to work against the Raiders because we're too big, we're too physical. You feel what I'm saying? That's not going to work against us as well as they think it's going to work out. So at the end of the day, I expect the Raiders to try to get their run game started, right? And in a fashionable way, I expect us to get that run game started, make Josh Jacobs' presence known. As far as the defensive side of the ball, I think they saw what, all of us saw on the broadcast, on tape. The Raiders still don't have that strong of a pass rush, right? And that's the problem right there. I mean, with Buffalo, their running game isn't strong. To me, their run game is Josh Allen. For as good as for as good as, the Cook running back is, I don't believe he's their number one workhorse. This is our running game. You feel what I'm saying? I think that Josh Allen is still the running game. Hence, why he tends to do too much sometimes, right? He feels there's too much on his plate. What you got to do, right, is make Josh feel overwhelmed. At the end of the day, you have to overwhelm Josh Allen. When you overwhelm Josh Allen, then he starts making these harebrained decisions, right, with the football, turning the ball over, throwing interceptions, maybe a fumble here and there. So if you get to speeding up this clock, if you get to making him uncomfortable, there are things you can do. Now with Stephon Diggs, we'll see who covers him. I kind of do like Jacorian on him. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather, because if you're talking about Marcus Peters covering Stephon Diggs, I don't know about that. I don't know. I kind of like the matchup with Marcus Peters and Gabe Davis a little better. Y'all let me know down below, but I like that matchup a little better just as far as the speed-wise, right? I feel like technique Marcus Peters can get with him, but as far as that quickness, that speed, I don't think he can mess with Diggs. Now, Jacorian, although it's a gamble, he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism, he's got the quickness to fuck with Stephon Diggs. Just a little bit, to fuck with him just a little bit, right? I don't think he's going to completely stop him, but he's going to fuck with him a little bit. So what we got to do is keep them off schedule. They cannot have a running game with that running back, right? And you force Josh Allen to now feel like he has to put everything on his shoulders. Once you do that, you might be able to force him to a turnover. Now, we're going to do some more scouting. I'm going to do some more shit. Now, let's see y'all like the breakdown I did of the film yesterday. I'm going to grab some Bills film, and we're going to go ahead and go through that, right? I think that'll be nice. So if I can get my hands on that, we'll go through some of that. But if not, we'll see, what we can do as far as trying to scout them some more, see what their tendencies are, see what we should do to attack them, how we should attack them, and let's see what comes to fruition on Sunday. So remember, make sure you guys hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell, man, so you get updated and you don't miss none of these episodes. I'm going to be having film breakdowns. I'm going to be doing some scouting, man. Let's go over all this shit together, see how the team should attack, right? So hit all the buttons. I am a Temu referral ambassador, so click the link in my bio or in the description. to get 50 to 75% off in the Temu store with a $100 gift card if you are so lucky. So make sure you tap on the link, tap on those buttons, and you know I keep it authentic from the clouds to the ground on the Raider Rundown.
I need a bad bitch with an accent, serving in peace, still taxing. Just got tapped for the young cash app, moonwalking like a young Mike Jackson. Yeah, shots to the head, ride clean and still fuck feds. Realest nigga and it's on my kids, so who the fuck gon' wanna test me, bitch?